So I've been seeing a lot of videos recently popping up all over my YouTube feed about music discourse being dead. I don't know what that means. Are we dead? We're talking about music right now. We've been talking about music for 2 hours now. Are we all going to drop dead? I guess we'll find out. I think it's best if we start with the Fantano one that I saw, because there's been a few videos about this, but we are going to be putting it on 1.5 times speed.
Hey everyone.
Because I don't want to hear this man's voice for longer than I need to.
Well, the general quality of discussion on the topic of music has gone downhill, noting the tier list boom as being...
I think it's gone uphill because realistically, what kind of discussion was being had about music on a mass scale back in the day? It was through magazines, so people were deciding what the opinion was and putting it out to other people. And there was in-person discussion, but you couldn't have mass scale discussion and opinions that were shared in a way that is as like large scale as it is today. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Fantano roasting going on in the chat right now. He talks about 4chan. Well, we'll find out.
Assess whether or not things were better a decade ago, because 10 years ago at this point was 2015, which in terms of, you know, the progression of
oh, I see, 10 years ago. So what I said before just is not relevant.
Music forums on Japanese image boards, my YouTube channel starting in 2009.
Yeah, but these forums were not like accessible by a large group of people. Music discussion is as like accessible as it has ever been, and that could be a negative. For example, like a lot of the shit you see is just, and Fantano is fully guilty of this. It is just about mainstream hip hop and the same topics over and over again. You know what I mean? Like that's what he mainly talks about.
Blogosphere boom, Pitchfork being much more relevant at the time than it is today. We're also talking about a time where generally
Pitchfork isn't relevant, but you basically replaced it, Mr. Boldman.
The discourse generally was more interesting. The music curation tended to be a bit more adventurous too, because...
But I think the main reason for that is because the people who would actively seek out like music discussion online were inherently more interested in the niche aspects of music and were just more passionate about music than they are nowadays. Like talking about music has essentially just become trendy nowadays. Obviously what we talk about and what I talk about isn't as trendy. It's a little bit trendy, but not like at the same level. But like the discussion of like the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, that was like the most trendy thing in the world. There's a reason that was a little bit more smooth brained than the discussion that would have happened 10 years ago on forums.
Like, you know, this perfect slice of history when it comes to music discussion and consumption. These forums and...
If normies found out about Rate Your Music, all the top albums would be Taylor Swift and K-pop. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It probably would be Kendrick. I don't know. I feel like the Kendrick like discussion and the Kendrick glaze, same with like Playboi Carti, like kind of dwarfs the Taylor Swift stuff. I don't know, because it's like everybody, even the Swifties are going like crazy about that diss track that I just didn't think was that like interesting at all. In my opinion, I didn't find that interesting at all.
Very aggressive, very dismissive, very elitist. The range of taste and albums and artists discussed sometimes could be kind of limited with a lot of like meme-based discourse around certain projects.
It was limited, but on Mew there were charts for literally every genre, and you could find charts for literally every genre that exists, including pop music. So
I mean, look, if at the time I thought all of these platforms and general music discourse during this point in history were like totally and completely perfect and fine and a-okay, that it couldn't be improved upon in any way whatsoever, I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel. I would have just been like, no, this is good. We don't need anything.
You started it because you wanted to do it as a job as well. Come on, don't try to do that. I started a YouTube channel because I was hoping I'd make money off of it and make it a job. Come on now.
Else other than this, it was very cliquey, very cool kids club, and personally, I didn't really care for it. So yeah, this time
it's kind of become that with like Fantano fans now, which is crazy to think. I think that's just inevitable for any kind of like review thing that presents it in a way with scores. I kind of touched on it in my video. In my opinion, it's just inevitably going to turn into like cliquey fucking elitism.
Time period certainly had its...
But elitism isn't always bad.
And look, some aspects of music discourse online have improved since then, but there have been some, I guess, things that have backslid a bit too, especially when you fast...
I think discourse as a whole has just regressed. I think that's genuinely what it is. Like discourse as a whole is just like completely fucked. It's all about memes. It's all about attention. It's all about clicks. It's all about clicks in a very different way to like clickbait articles back in the day.
It sort of sucks that we've seen the degradation financially and culturally of all of these once great and influential institutions in music reviews and coverage, be it Pitchfork.
I think it is a shame that that like traditional music review websites don't really exist anymore, to be honest, because it is a great, like, they were independent. It's a way for money to be made off of music. It is he does have a weird head shape.
fork, be it Rolling Stone, so on and so forth. I know that there's a lot of people like that don't really like decry the fact these websites and platforms, they're not as popular as they once were. These places were once huge institutions that when you dig through their archives are essentially like, historical ledgers of art and culture.
That is true, because Pitchfork's existence means you can go back and view what people thought about music throughout like the years in the past. And if that doesn't exist anymore, it's going to be like, what, we're going to use like Twitter threads or like Fantana's reviews as a way to do that instead? I don't know. Maybe.
The influence of which is still significant and felt today in a lot of the modern music that we...
Elitism is way better than mindless consumerism and loss of authenticity and passion in art. Yeah, that's true. Positive of elitism happening in scenes and in communities is because it keeps it, I suppose, how it should be, so it doesn't get degraded by mainstream meddling and mainstream attention, you know what I mean? And like people and bad actors.
However, I don't think this post is wrong in assessing that things are not in a great place right now. However, I wouldn't really attribute that to much else other than the fact that the platforms that this discourse is happening on right now at this moment just suck fucking ass. And a lot of the platforms...
That's true. The platforms all encourage the most short form, brain rot content. I would do so much better on YouTube if I just made like slop shorts. I would be doing so much better, but I like fight and claw my way to continue doing what I'm doing because I kind of want to share my opinion in a way, and I want to share history that I'm interested in a way that's long form. And I still, don't get me wrong, chat, I still do rot. It's fucking rot, brain rot slop, the way I edit. One, because I find it funny, and two, because it's a way to get across the information in a way that's actually like friendly to the modern ecosystem. But like even then, there are people who are probably too brain rotted to even like get through one of my videos and instead just want to see like an opinion on a Twitter thread, or like we'll click on a Fantano video and scroll to the bottom and just look at the score. Again, I say in every single video, the consistent like destruction of our attention span and how the social media platforms are taking advantage of that to continue to make money. It's going to affect arts and it's going to affect discussion and discourse in many ways, of course.
Platforms that people discover music through right now suck ass. In terms of like user experience and what you're actually being recommended and exposed to, Spotify is worse than ever with the...
I agree. Has anybody noticed how bad Spotify's algorithm is now? It's like, I swear they're just using AI, and that is a fucking another problem that's going to make the discussion worse. It's going to make the content worse. It's going to make the music worse. It's going to make everything worse as the introduction of AI, because I think AI is not that useful at the moment, but for some reason the corporations and the people running these companies think AI is a gift from the Lord above, because they are putting AI into all these algorithms and it just pushes people Indian slop. I didn't mean to say Indian slop. It just pushes people just like Mr. Beast slop. It pushes people like stuff that they don't actually want to watch. For example, my videos started performing worse when they introduced AI into the YouTube algorithm because they couldn't find Screamo fans to watch my Screamo video because they couldn't figure out what it was. But back in the old algorithm, it worked fine.
Again, more limited algorithmic recommendations, blander playlists loaded with fake music. The algorithm's getting more aggressive in terms of like hurting
fake music as well. I've touched on that briefly in the AI one. Now there's AI music, but then there was also like covers, like a whole bunch of the Spotify is just filled with like covers and like fake music.
People into certain songs and trends and singles and so on and so forth. Any given social media platform where there's a decent amount of music discourse going on at any given moment are objectively worse too. Most controversial content and comments first, basically.
Yeah, and also like a lot of social medias, including Instagram, the comments are algorithmic, so they're going to show you like echo chamber discussions. Considering social media is so vast and you're able to see the opinions of so many different people, the ability to get caught into an echo chamber is so easy. Like pretty much everybody who is like politically brain rotted or has like a brain rot idea about a particular subject that gets them stuck into that are just seeing echo chambers. That's not discourse, that's not discussion, because discourse and discussion inherently requires people to disagree. So yeah, the quality of discourse is going to be less quality because of that as well. You know, I'm agreeing with Fantano. Maybe we be buddies one day and have a fucking vegan soy latte together.
Erasing any chance of like a thoughtful discussion or analysis of anything happening.
Yeah, they're designed to cause arguments and negativity, because arguments and negativity get way more clicks and get way more reactions and way more comments, and it's all about just making as much money and keeping people on the platforms. That's all it is nowadays. It's crazy how most people don't have an eye or an ear to detect AI. It's genuinely obvious most of the time. I think it's obvious. I think it's mainly boomers, to be honest.
Fandoms that are super polarizing and aggressive when it comes to dealing with people who are a part of other fandoms. Like we have to be in like this tribal war state at all times.
That's because of the echo chamber point I made earlier. And again, it's just like people are lonely. People are incredibly lonely. People don't have connections like they used to. And it's going to send people into like echo chamber fan bases and fandoms where they can feel like a family because everybody agrees and it's a happy family, but God forbid there's another fucking fandom that disagrees. Hasn't this always existed? Didn't Metallica and Megadeth fans fight on site? Yeah, but that's the good old days. In-person violence is much better.
Great, but I attribute most of that to the platforms it's happening on, not the people who are doing it. And I feel like if people want to get back to that, they need to start exploring platforms or building places to do that sort of thing.
There aren't any platforms for that, and I highly doubt that they will ever exist because they're just like, it's just monopolized.
Be a little bit more organic, not so heavily controlled or botted or
just speak. But there are places where you can discuss music in a way that's like not rotty. For example, this stream chat, I know there's like 60 people in here or something, but we're all discussing music in a way that is very positive. So you can find small spaces that are very positive. I highly doubt Fantano's stream chat is similar. For some reason, I've managed to actually like build a community that's actually quite friendly, considering the shit I make. But
community-based review platforms that are most definitely worthy of respect, like Rate Your Music and
yeah, Rate Your Music is still pretty positive.
Nick and Album of the Year. Music Discourse isn't currently in such a bad place that it's all terrible and it's all awful and it's all garbage.
What about the Coolier stream chat? What about the Coolier stream chat, Fantano? Don't you fucking look at me like that.
But in my opinion, a great deal of it is kind of being taken up and ruined by the social media platforms where...
But again, I feel like alternative metal, hardcore, all that kind of discussion is still pretty... Actually, no, that's not. That's a complete lie. That's a complete lie because God forbid anybody in the hardcore community sees like anybody else make any money.
Building and creating another place to do this sort of thing. Seek out alternatives.
We're doing it, chat. We're building a place to discuss music. We're doing exactly what this fucking big fat head motherfucker's saying. Let's go.
But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think just hip-hop fans are just completely brain rotted, honestly. And I think the next video we're going to watch is going to cover that a little bit, which is called The Death of Music Discourse by EXE, which is a smaller channel, so I'll shout it out. I'm not going to shout out Fantano because you fucking know. You know. I think this is a bit more of a rotty video, so...
In a world where people blindly follow trends for the sake of fitting in.
Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick.
Can you name 10 Kendrick Lamar songs? 5?
It's just, I don't like this shit. This is just not very nice. Like, this brother, guy with the, whatever the fuck this trim is, just walked up to two random, obviously underage girls, Drake or Kendrick. It's a huge thing, so they're gonna answer. It doesn't mean they have to know, this bitch don't know rigor mortis, and that's fine.
Girls have podcast equipment.
I just think Kendrick absolutely violated Drake.
A world where
That was like such a weird. I managed to like duck and dive and avoid. Like I didn't succumb to making the Kendrick Drake versus Wojak video. I did not succumb to that because it's just like, first of all, I don't actually give a f. It's just like diss tracks to each other. The only diss track I ever cared about was like the Pusha T one to Drake because I really like the beat on that. But it was like Life of OJ, wasn't it? What was I saying? But also it's like, it's so weird because it's like Drake was accused of being a pedophile, and everybody's like, oh, he got him. Oh, pedophile. It's disgusting. Why is this being like used as like some fucking weird trend?
What do you think of Cardi's new album?
He went 30 for 30. Production was amazing on it. I mean, that's all I got to say, really.
What's your favorite song on the album?
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Ooh, shit. I like, damn, put me on the spot. I got to think. Bro, I'm actually tweaking. I literally have an opium tattoo, and I can't think of the song off the album.
That's so bad. It proves like how many people are just not, they don't like the things they say they do. They just want to have a sort of aesthetic or something like that. Like, people are so rotted.
a world where people are having business meetings to still talk about Drake and Kendrick.
This was deeper to Kendrick, deeper to Kendrick, because he mentioned
Who cares?
It's 2025. You're either hating or you're glazing, buddy. Pick one. Find someone to glaze, find someone to hate, think of the dumbest thing you can, and type it. This
Again, I just think this happens within like mainstream music genres. I don't see this as much as within the discussion that like we would typically have about alternative genres, or just like people who actually are passionate about music in a way that's not like completely superficial.
So this was under some dumb post comparing rock versus rap, and Ben said there is no rapper better than the worst rock band of all time. Just say
I
the
got
word.
one of these on my Carti videos. It's like, rap should be called crap. They should have named it crap. I literally got one of those comments.
So real. Like if I ask someone what their favorite music genre is and they say rap, as in Kanye and Cardi.
I just think you shouldn't comment on music genres that you don't understand and don't know anything about, because if you can only name like Carti, Kendrick, and fucking Kanye when talking about hip hop, you just don't know anything about hip hop, and that's fine. If you don't like hip hop, you don't need to know anything about hip hop, but don't comment on hip hop.
Why didn't you?
That's not the state of music discourse. That's the state of discourse. It's a fucking Instagram comment section. What do you expect? Like, it's just people fishing for likes and trying to be funny.
Therefore, they don't have an actual reason as to why they feel the way they do. They just type. I just feel it's so hard.
There are many people in this world, chat, that are breathing, but that's all they're really doing. There's not much else going on.
Playboi Carti is our generation's Michael Jackson, but better. Like, there's zero nuance to anything. It's
What does that even mean?
Mid, or the best album of the last 10 years. And that's just not what music is, at least to me. Music, to me, as corny as it sounds, is something that everyone and everybody can enjoy. It's something that is different for each and every person that consumes it. So arguing about it is pointless. And being percent.
That's not true. You can argue about music, you can debate music. Music discussions should exist regardless of the subjectivity of the songs.
Just about it is brain dead. And in this day and age, you can't even listen to the artists you like without somebody in your ear calling you an NPC or that you listen to coworker music. This guy wanted to share.
I've never had that. I think if you actually, like, I don't know, delve deep into music and look into music and are passionate about alternative styles of music, you're never going to be referred to as that.
10 albums he could listen to for the rest of his life. Banger, banger, banger. Yeah, he's got some classics here. These are all great. There should be no problem with this.
These are all NPC albums, I'm sorry to say.
The most
But that's fine, you're allowed to like it.
basic white boy picks, I fear. Only basic. Okay, his choices aren't exactly out there or hard to find, but do they really have to be? He found something that works for him, and he didn't have to look too far for it.
So, but like, why did he like share it on his social media? Like, what, just to flex like the vinyls he has that he bought at like Urban Outfitters? I don't agree with that one personally. Like, if you're gonna put yourself out there on the internet, expect to be roasted. I have.
Damn it, who? Or you snuck bro in? You can't win now, man. How is Illmatic a basic white boy pick? look at this.
Illmatic is probably a basic white boy pick.
I don't think anyone gets their opinions from Fantano. Love
I think a lot of people get their opinions from Fantano.
It's Kanye.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd. Once again, Lana Del Rey.
This guy's just like picking on he's picking on memes and jokes to do with music. They should be allowed to exist even if they are negative. Memes and jokes are usually negative.
Once again, Billie Eilish.
I thought I was going to agree with a lot of this video, but I'm not.
How do you feel about the new Drake album?
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to listen to it, but I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah,
These guys, these are kids. Can we just leave the kids alone? Let them do their little podcast. Come on now.
Drake is Bravo. Kendrick Lamar is an A24 film. Drake is an Adam Sandler movie.
This bitch been mewing, bro.
Kendrick Lamar is Asian Provocateur. Drake is Victoria's Secret Salesman. Kendrick Lamar is Alice.
All right, shut the hell up. What you're about to see here
You got
is
the
in its highest form. Kendrick
crimson
is hate,
shit.
Drake is love. Kendrick is victimization. Drake is victory. Kendrick is poverty. He makes white people feel better about themselves. He makes white people feel like they're a part of hip-hop culture. Yeah.
I feel like Kendrick has made like far more comments on race politics and done far more for I guess the black population than Drake ever has.
So if you didn't know by now, being white in the hip hop community,
I think everybody who has any idea about music, even in the slightest, has known about Kendrick for fucking like a decade. Come on now.
Okay, he dropped, and it's good, kinda, not great,
No.
not trash, but kind of good. Was it worth the 5-year wait? No, but beggars can't be choosers. Imagine how his son feels. Anyway,
Artificial scarcity. You are at the feet of the labels, all
music
of
as
you.
polarizing as Cardi's, you know, a lot of people were hating and a lot of people were glazing. And I honestly think this is the perfect opportunity to show you the true spectrum of music discourse in 2025.
It's not just hating and glazing. I don't think that Playboi Carti's new album is very good, and I can give you multiple reasons as to why, based on my experience listening to music in the past and based on my experience researching music. Is that like just not a thing that can happen anymore?
The rap Instagram page, which is the home for most.
And that doesn't mean I'm right. Of course, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's still a subjective art form at the end of the day. But like, it's just like I don't think it is just glazing. Maybe in the hip hop space, it's just glazing and fucking hating. But
and you can't really beat it. This album that I only heard once is a 10, and if
a 10 out of 10 is like an insane feat for an album. Like insane.
Like, the Kendrick hate is so forced, man. Kendrick ruined the album. He ruins everything he touches. Even if you dislike Kendrick, he did not ruin the album. It's a 30.
Why do people hate Kendrick? Is it because he beefed with Drake? Is that why? Because I know his like fame skyrocketed somehow after the Drake beef. I've obviously listened to him for a very long time. Like if you pay attention to music in the slightest, you would have listened to Kendrick before. Obviously.
Song album. He's on what, 3 songs? Mid button. You listen to a 30-song album, and you have a 3-letter word to describe it. I don't listen to Cardi, Kendrick, or any popular artist.
Yeah, you can describe something as that's a decent review. Mid. That's fine.
Anyone who likes it has to be white. The most perfect album ever. Out of all these answers, I haven't seen a reason yet. An actual explanation, an actual...
Well, no, because it's just slop comment sections on short form social media.
All for the bag hasn't heard one Cardi song, so just delete his whole career. He doesn't exist.
But he's allowed to say that. He's not trying to claim that Kendrick, like, he's not trying to claim that Carti shouldn't exist. He's just saying, oh, I just don't listen to him. I don't know anything about him.
Finish my Yeet and Playboy Carti album wall. Guess the race, Impossible Edition. Gotta be Hispanic. So just remember, guys, if you like Carti and you
Mexican ass.
Ken Carson fans are not.
It's funny. It's funny.
Ken corrects himself. You already have a song about to be generational. Darkest Ken.
This guy needs to work on narrative in his videos. I think he's very new. I think he's incredibly new to making videos. And there's this style of video that, like, I see all over YouTube, which is it's like all looks exactly like this.
And that's how you know that there's a problem with the way people consume music today. Like, oh, I don't really like this song. I'm probably just too white. Like, no, that shouldn't cross your mind at all. But even if you have a take about the actual music, your race will still be called into question. It's just a dumb take. Because there are probably some teenagers out there that think Carti sucks. So instead of trying to categorize everything and put everything into a box or some type of label, just enjoy the music for what it is. Or don't enjoy it. That's okay too. And if you've ever listened to Carti's music yourself and you just don't,
I think life would be very boring if you weren't allowed to hate and make memes. I think things would be very boring.
So y'all think Carti a good dad?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Why does it matter? Like, okay, so Carti has to be a good father in the eyes of these people as well as the music.
And I thought GNX was pretty good. I don't know if Drake paid Instagram pages to rage bait and farm hate on.
It's really like hard to say that Kendrick's a bad artist. It's almost impossible. Like, you cannot listen to some of those albums in the past, like Good Kid, Mad City, T-Pab. What was the one before that? Section 80. They're just really well produced, well performed, well written hip hop albums. I don't think those are things that can be refuted. You cannot like it, but you can't deny the fact that it's well produced, well written, and well performed.
Kendrick is NPC co-worker trying to be edgy music. It's almost like when
Kendrick didn't really choose the fan base he has. I do think the fan base is like pretty heinous. I do think his fan base is awful, and I do think he is probably overrated at this point because his fan base is like so insane.
It still bothers me when people call somebody overrated because it just dismisses every single accomplishment in the career all in one word. Like, how many Grammys did
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Overrated means that they're rated too highly by the general public based on the stuff that they actually create, and things can be overrated or underrated. It doesn't take. He still has the Grammys.
That's when Kendrick Lamar talks about socio-political topics for a whole album. You know, the stuff hip-hop was built on. That's when Chief Keef says A 40 times. But you see with me, I don't really care. Because the Chief Keef song...
That's a fantastic meme, though. That's a great meme.
Giving his audience what they want. Glad everyone is realizing it's corny. Like, what? This guy is literally...
Now, Kendrick... not Kendrick. Tyler's incredibly creative in many ways. Like...
True art. Another thing that makes music discourse unbearable is the overanalyzation of streams, sales, and numbers.
I have never seen this. I think I am, because I don't use Twitter and I'm not in the discussion of mainstream music, I have never seen people actually attempting to debate music based on fucking numbers and streams. That is genuinely R-worded.
Play on a song, especially because most of it's botted.
I'm not a Tyler fan, but this hate is super undeserved. Yeah, again, he's an incredibly talented artist who went from a kind of crude, immature rapper who rapped over like pretty dirty beats, really immature lyricism, just shock value. He started to learn instruments, learn how to sing. He started producing really mature music and really artistic music with really cool visual arts. He's had a progression in music and hip hop that is incredibly admirable. So just like being like, oh, he's trash because I don't like his haircut, you know?
Don't ever, and I mean ever, nobody say play that new Kendrick.
I never hear anybody play Kendrick in public. Well, apart from that fucking diss track that I can fucking avoid, man.
Ugh. You have it.
Which is why I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4.
A 4? Nah, go and re-listen right now. You had to have gotten that wrong, right? I mean, this is rage bait.
Fantana's allowed to have his opinion. I agree with him. Like, when you're not in the hip-hop ecosystem, okayly produced, lazily performed fucking hip-hop album that took 5 years to make isn't that impressive. I've heard In the Court of the Crimson King. Came out in fucking the 60s, brother. Fuck, man. Come on, open your brain. I don't know who Doechii is.
Good music and being popular.
Who is this?
Okay. It's like, that's why I love Doechii right now. Like,
okay.
Like,
nah, I don't really listen to Doechii, but I have heard some shit. I've seen her music videos. They're fire.
Is this another, like, another... Who's this streamer?
Okay.
Jesus Christ, imagine being this famous.
Still haven't heard a single song from the broad.
I don't know anything about Doechii.
I've been pretty brain dead. I think we can all admit that. But this is
Good
like
Tiny
a
Desk.
different level I haven't seen. Like, bro wants Doechii to start randomly playing from the sky. While
Doechii appeared out of the blue and everyone was gooning for the music. Industry plant, not gonna lie. Oh yeah, I mean, Modern day hip hop runs on industry plants. I mean, Playboy Carti has a lot of industry backing. I know he did it organically at first, but he has a lot of industry backing. You can't. It's true, you know. I don't know who the fuck Doechii is. I really am not paying attention to mainstream music at all. This is like my first interaction with it for a long time.
Okay, Bob.
She isn't an industry plant, but she definitely got a crazy unnatural push from her label. So what is an industry plant then? Is that not an industry plant?
It literally does. People can't stop complaining about anxiety. I'm sick of the song Anxiety, and I haven't.
Oh, that fucking song, the one that somebody that I used to know, it's just fucking ripped it off. Yeah, I know.
So Hassan Abi, political streamer, showed off his new vinyl record, which was Osama Sun's Jump Out. Pretty good tape in my opinion. Someone goes,
I need to listen to that. Apparently it's good.
Stop listening to Osama Sun. Too many new gens.
Gigi Allen Tiny Desk console would have gone hard. Yeah, probably. Shit would have been flying everywhere.
Mainstream rap fans or underground rap fans? Actually, no.
Doesn't like when people don't have their own opinions, but doesn't let people have opinions. Don't get it. Yeah, this is a confusing video. He seems to be going back and forth.
Like underground.
I think just let people let people speak, let people hate. It's gonna happen, you know. I think Fantano had more of a actual nuanced take on it, but that does make sense because this guy's a pretty new YouTuber and is probably like 16, whilst Fantano's like a fucking 57-year-old man. Is Osama Sun even underground? 1 million monthly listeners. Underground hip hop, for fuck's sake. It's not underground. 1 million monthly listeners. It's not fucking underground.
So corny. Enough time has passed, and that's been better than Prime Michael Jackson now.
Yeah, this is a very long video.
Ned's worst song is better than
I'm sure he'll improve,
Who is
but
Michael Jackson? Some guy asked,
he obviously has certain opinions and biases and is pissed off about certain
Denzel
things.
PFP. That's where we are in 2025. It's a joke to be a Denzel Curry fan, but cool to be a Netsmen fan.
This guy obviously has his biases as well based on that right there. He obviously doesn't like Netsmen and likes Denzel Curry. He's doing the exact same thing in this video that he's complaining about.
Why is this
he
happening?
contradicted his entire point throughout the entire video with one little comment section. Underground hip hop now just seems like a catch-all term for any popular rapper that doesn't chart high. Ridiculous. Underground was always underground. I'm starting to think that Smoke Dope 2016 isn't underground because he's got too like he's a bit too like mainstream.
Let me know in the comments what's the craziest take you've seen in the music comment section over the past year. Have a good day. Peace.
Is music discourse dead? No. Much like all discourse on every topic, we're a little bit cooked. Our attention spans are fucked. Social media takes advantage of that and pushes things that are going to make people angry and annoyed. So that's going to destroy the discussion for everything. But there are spaces where you can find nuanced discussion about music, aka my comment sections and my streams. You do get it. Even Fantano's comment sections, you see nuanced discussion. So yeah, I don't think music discourse is dead. I think we just live in a society. We live in a bit of a dystopian place. So yeah, that was that. That was a bit fucking. I need to have a piss now. That was a bit fucking much.